Welcome to a brand new episode of Gadget Nation and me, Adam Carruthers, back here at the RA Fine Arts Gallery over in Publica. Check out this piece. It's like kinetic energy, it's technology, it's art all rolled into one. One of some really interesting pieces available here. Now, speaking of technology, there's plenty in store for you today. If you like protecting your phone, if you're interested in what Alcatel has to offer, we got that amongst other things. But first, we must start the show to keep you updated on all the news in the world of technology with G News.
Today, we are launching S860, S660, S650, A859, A680, and also A526. We have two categories, the S series and the A series. All right, S series, like I mentioned, the three model 860, 660, and 650. So this one, especially on 860 and 660, it gives you a long battery life, a bigger battery size, which is 4000 mAh and also 3000 mAh. And A series is actually we wanted to have a specification that is matched to the market, but at a more affordable price for our customer.
Samsung Malaysia Electronics Sdn Berhad introduced 4 monitors including UD590, SD590, SD390 and SD360, which offer consumers and businesses the latest innovations in monitor technology.
I did promise you something for all the phone people out there. So, Alcatel, I've got one of their latest offerings. Very interesting and a successor to a product that we've seen in the past from Otterbox as well. Something that can really protect your phone and hopefully have fixed everything I had issues with last time around. Ooh, I'm quite excited about what I have here in my hands. This is the Alcatel Idol X, the One-Touch Idol X, and it's rather nifty looking phone. I have to say I'm very impressed. Straight off the bat, very impressive colors. As you can tell right there, more about how the screen actually is later. It's 5 inches in case you're wondering, by the way. But before we focus on the screen, which is by far for me the most impressive facet of this phone because the colors are so nice, I keep getting distracted by it, sorry. Let's just take a look at what encompasses the entire phone. What you can see at the side right there is SIM slot 1. So in case you've guessed, this is the dual SIM version. There's actually one which just has a single SIM. The one which I've been given to test out has 2 SIM cards. On the top, as you can see, just a headphone jack and the power button. And along the side, we have the volume rocker and the second SIM card slot. And as usual, some speakers at the bottom there. And of course, we've got the USB port for you to stick in the power charger or connect it to your PC, etc. So, a very nice, very slim, very premium feeling phone. I mean, just look at the back. There's 2 colors for this, so we have the darker version today. The other one is more silverish. And it's got this nice reflective back, which takes the lights and makes it almost octagon shaped. And it's really a nice little touch. What about the internal aspect of this phone? Octa-core. That is using the MediaTek octa-core, which is the first for a smartphone in the world. 18% battery saving power right there. So obviously, if you are someone that uses the internet a lot, if you're someone that uses games a lot, Facebook, Instagram, whatever, takes up a lot of battery in your smartphone, then obviously that is a huge bonus point. One minus point about this is the lack of a micro SD card storage. This phone comes in a variation of either 16 GB or 32 GB. So if you are a stickler for memory, if you need space for videos, etc., you might struggle a little bit. However, thankfully, there's stuff like Dropbox you can always use, but again, then you can rely on a data connection, which for me, it's not the greatest thing to do. I want to talk a little bit about the screen. It's 5 inches. It is stunning. 441 ppi, and the color reproduction on it is absolutely stunning. It's very intuitive for the user out there, and the screen probably is the biggest selling point of this phone. As for the camera, well, it's pretty good. I mean, it's got a 13 megapixel camera on the back, so obviously you can snap away, 1080p obviously. Front, in case you like taking all your selfies and stuff, is 2 megapixels, but it's still pretty good as well. However, not the greatest. We recently saw the HTC One M8, which has a 5 megapixel front camera. Obviously, that's great for selfies if you're into that sort of thing. If you're not, then it's probably not really going to matter. And obviously, a lot of fun can be had with the camera as well. And in closing, what do I think about this? What do I think about this in closing? Well, I take my hat off, if I had one on right now, to Alcatel. I mean, I've said it before on the show, we've seen a lot of recent phones from them, and from previously being pretty big and then focusing on the lower end market, like for the really cheap phones, to suddenly coming back with a bang and releasing some really top end stuff. I'm seriously impressed. But bearing in mind this is octa-core 2 gigahertz and it's priced at just under 1,300. They've done a great job. Premium feeling phone, decent camera, a lot to love, but very little to hate about it. Maybe the only stickler I have is a lack of expandable storage, but that's it. It really, really is a great package for you to go and check out. Now, this makes me excited. What I have in front of me, if you cast your minds back to a rather long time ago, we took a look at some cases from Otterbox. Now, I complained at the time that, yeah, it was for the iPhone 5, if I remember correctly, but it made the phone so bulky, so large that it kind of defeats the purpose of buying a slim phone. You might as well go back to the 90s and buy a big phone. However, it seems the guys at Otterbox have thought, all right, that's cool, we understand. Let's make something with the same features, but ensure that it still remains stylish for your phone and something that can actually be used on an everyday basis, or if you're going to go traveling and on some sort of adventure, well, something a bit more industrial as well. So the variations that I've been passed here, 2 of these are from the Symmetry line, 1 is from the Preserver line. This is just for sampling, this is just for testing. So we've been given the iPhone 1, so we're going to test it with the iPhone. Starting off with the Preserver. So, the Preserver, now if we just look inside, we've got this nice padding here which will prevent shock onto the phone. So obviously, great little touch right there. And then on the back, it's a very hard casing, so you can probably pick it up on my microphone there. That will definitely protect everything. Now, on the other side here, very nice, right there. You feel it very tough, very industrial as well. We've got the access to the buttons right here as well, and on the top as well for the power button. So it's pretty easy to use it. You just snap it in there, and it feels very snug. It feels very cool. And then you take the back, and then you snap it on as well. And once it's in place, you've effectively got a device which is waterproof, dustproof, and shockproof. So, what is cool about it? All right, well, I think I really enjoy using this. If you're like the person that goes underwater, etc., to play around with your phone, or if you're an adventurous type, this is very useful indeed. In case you're wondering about the actual specs of this and how far in the water you can go, this is IPX8, so that means 2 meters, up to 2 meters rather, for about 30 minutes. It's also IP6X, which means you can drop it 2 meters as well, and it's obviously going to block out any dust that you have, any debris, so it'll protect your phone entirely. So I have to say, they've done a very good job in fixing what they've had before in this sense. Now, on to the Symmetry. So the Symmetry series, again, it's really, really nice. I have to say, it is so much better than the last series that we've seen in terms of size. Obviously, it's just as practical. Unlike the Preserver, it's very easy to slot into place. It's a one piece, so it's not going to protect your screen. Okay, that should be added. This will only protect the back and, well, being back heavy, if you drop it, it should land on its back, fingers crossed. But that's it. Once it goes into place, it keeps your phone solid. Obviously, there's no rating for being waterproof in this device. There's no rating for keeping out debris, etc., because there's no front cover. It's just on the back. But it actually looks very stylish, as you can see. Credit to Otterbox. I'm going to take my hat off. They've done a fantastic job with this. It really, really does its job.